it ever felt like the people in your life are not supporting the changes that you're trying to make? Even when you're making changes that are for the good and the positive, you feel like you're not getting the support, the care, the consideration that you want to get from them. And that happens a lot. And there's reasons behind that, which is what we're going to talk about today. What's going on when I'm trying to do something for myself that other people can't support or having a problem with? And a lot of times it can feel like they're centering themselves instead of actually paying attention to the changes that you're trying to make. So, okay, I'm going to start eating healthier and I'm going to start making salads. And your spouse is saying, I didn't sign up to eat all these salads. I'm not trying to eat healthier like this. Or, let me go ahead and finish that degree. I'm going back to school. And your partner's saying, who gonna watch these kids? Who gonna take care of these kids? Or if you decided, I'm not gonna drink anymore, and your friends are saying, so I guess we can't hang out anymore because when we're together, we're drinking. So even though we're trying to do something that is healthy and positive for us, we can get a lot of pushback from the people that we care about, and we can feel unsupported behind that. And we cannot ever make somebody else change or make somebody else do something. So we can't change anyone else's behaviors. However, when we start to make changes for ourselves, the relationship is going to be different. The relationship has to change. So when we are being different, the relationship is going to become different too. And that can have an impact on the relationship in very positive ways or ways that can feel detrimental to the relationship. So the people in our lives can be having these reactions because they're used to us being a certain way. That when I say this, you say this. When I respond like this, you respond like that. When we get together, here are the things that we do. And you're not doing those things anymore. So when I say this, and now you're doing something different, when I'm saying, hey, let's go out to dinner, and you're saying, actually, let's go for a walk, I don't know how to respond to that. And that can make someone feel very uncomfortable because I am not used to you being this way. And our bodies, our minds, it likes things to be simplified. And then when we try to throw that off, the inconsistency can really unravel someone in terms of what they think about us or what they know about us. Yet, even when that's happening, we want to stay consistent. That when we are consistent in the changes that we're making, we can give people the opportunity to understand us in a new way and then be able to connect with us in a new way too. And an example I like to use is, I don't know if they still do the let them cry it out approach when it comes to sleep training, but the example of parents, they go to their pediatrician, oh my goodness, we can't get any sleep. This baby's just up all night crying. It's terrible. We're just feeding them. I have to always go in there. We're getting no sleep. And the pediatrician says, okay, this week, don't go into the bedroom, into the nursery. Let the baby cry. The parents come back the next day. They look even more tired. They're more exhausted. It was worse this week. It was awful. The baby cried longer. The baby cried louder. Our house is in complete chaos. And the pediatrician says, okay, let the baby cry it out one more week. And then this next week that the parents come in, they say, okay, the baby's been sleeping through the night, or they wake up and then they can put themselves back to sleep. Well, with that, that's an example of what can happen in our adult relationships too, or in our parent-child relationships, that when we make a change, like that baby, I'm used to when I cry, you come. And now that you're not coming in here, oh, you must have not heard me. I have to cry louder. And you're still not coming in here, so I have to cry even longer. So when we start to make a change, again, even if the change is for the best, people can have a reaction because I'm used to when I do this, this is how you show up for me. And now that you're not showing up for me, I have to exacerbate my behaviors to try to get you to attend to me. And that it is not a surprise then when we start to do something different, we can feel an increased pushback from people in our lives, not because they don't necessarily want to support us or they don't want us to be able for us to make that change. But like that baby, I'm just so used to this interaction that I don't know how to respond when you're doing this. And I think the way for me to respond is to get louder. But if we stay consistent with the change, eventually the relationship can change. That baby learned to self-soothe. So when we're making change, for us to continue to be consistent with change, to give the relationship the opportunity, the chance to change too. And then other times people can have a reaction to us changing is because they feel like it's going to have a change on them. It's going to have an impact on them. Can't change anybody else's behavior, but when we change, it can have an impact on the relationship. So take, for example, a parent who's drinking. And even if that child is saying, please, please stop drinking. I hate it when you drink. You get so irritated when you drink, or you just fall asleep when you drink. Please don't drink. That child cannot make that parent stop drinking. That parent has to make the decision themselves to stop drinking. And then let's say that the parent says, you know what? I am going to stop drinking. I am done drinking. And now the parent is saying, oh, be home at 9:00. Did you do your homework? Hey, go out there and mow the lawn. Come in here and wash the dishes. Take the trash out. That child's thinking, it was better when you were drinking. Like, I didn't have to do none of this stuff because you was passed out by 9:00. And now you're putting all these responsibilities on me. And now there's all these rules I have to follow when I didn't have to follow those rules before because you were not present the way that you are. So the child could have a reaction to that. But again, in a parent-child relationship, that parent being present, available, setting rules, attending to that child in the long term is going to be better for that child than if the parent continues to drink and is not going to be available mentally, emotionally, physically for that child. So we still have to stay consistent with the change, even though the people in our lives, again, could have some pushback. And another reason that we can feel that we're not getting the support that we desire is because our loved ones could have a fear for what the change is going to do to the relationship. One of my favorite shows, My 600-Pound Life, where there are people who are morbidly obese and then they're undergoing bariatric surgery to lose weight. And a lot of times their partners have a pretty intense fear because we've had this codependent relationship for so long where I always know where you are. I know how to make you happy by bringing you food. I don't have to worry about you out here trying to be with someone else. And now that you're losing weight, you are feeling more confident within yourself, you are out in the world more, I'm fearful that you might leave me or this relationship's not going to be good enough for you anymore. So I'm having a hard time supporting you being healthy because I have my own internal fears of what you being healthy is going to do to us, what you being healthy is going to look like in our relationships. So a person's going to have to grapple through their own insecurities so that both people can show up in the relationship in a healthy way. But we can't stifle our changes or silence what our needs are because someone else is struggling with their own insecurities. We can understand that, we can support that, but we still have to do these things that we need to do to take care of ourselves. So because it can change the relationship because of their insecurities, because now you are showing up in ways that I'm not used to you showing up. All these things can have an impact on loved ones' ability to support the changes that we're making. And because we know some of the reasons why they could be struggling, we can offer them some grace. Like, I understand, like, this is a big change. Right, you did not sign up to eat salads. So I'm going to have my salad and we can figure out what could be something also that you could eat along with the salads that I'm making. So we can give them some grace and recognize that, yes, I see how this is an adjustment. We are going to have to come up with a schedule that works for both of us in terms of how we're going to take care of the kids while I'm back at school. So extending that grace to them. And then I work with a lot of individuals who I am been more assertive. I'm more confident. I've been working on these goals. I've been accomplishing these things. And I just feel like my spouse is not supporting me. Do they know the changes that you're working on and the things that you're trying to do? No, I've never shared those things with them. Okay, so they don't even know what you're doing. They just know you're coming in here different, but they don't know why you're being different, what's different about you, how come these things are happening. Maybe you just explain to them what you're doing, then they can better support you. And like it being a light bulb, I'm like, oh yeah, I have never actually shared with them, hey, I've noticed myself being a people pleaser. I don't want to be a people pleaser anymore. That's what I'm working on in therapy. So when you see me being more assertive or say no to things, that's the reason that I'm doing that, to actually give them the explanation of the changes that you're trying to make. I want to finish this degree, So that's why I'm going back to school, and I've been researching all these courses, and I've been going out to coffee shops more to figure out what that's going to look like. Well, I didn't know. You just haven't been home. I didn't know what you were doing. So to actually give them the information so that it can have some clarity around that too. And when it comes to those insecurities, we might not be able to take that away from the person, but we can share with them what our desires are. I'm making these changes because I desire to be healthier. I want to go back to school because I want our family to be more financially stable. I am telling you that you have to do these chores around the house, or I want you to be home at this time, because the parent I was before is not the parent that you deserve or the parent that you needed. You deserve a parent who's going to be here for you. And I am really focused on being here for you. So we need to be able to tell people why we're making the changes and what our desired results are from the changes. Not only how our change is going to be beneficial to us personally, it's also going to be beneficial to a relationship. The healthier I am as an individual, the healthier version of me gets to show up to this relationship. The more present I am, the more present I get to be in this relationship. The more I'm feeling secure, the more that we can grow within our relationship. So we can actually express to people what we're wanting to come from the changes that we're making to help them to be able to better support us. So if you notice that people are struggling with the changes that you're making, there are reasons behind it. Being able to explore what those reasons are, staying consistent with your change, and explaining what the changes are that you're doing could help them to better support you as you continue to grow and live a healthier, happier, more joyful life.